Rare earth minerals are the secret ingredients of our modern world. They are not as rare as their name might suggest. But honestly, they are very hard to find in large amounts. And yeah, they are even harder to process. These 17 elements are vital for many technologies we use every day. Think about the smartphone in your pocket. It uses rare earths to make the screen bright and the speaker work. The powerful magnets in electric vehicles and wind turbines also depend on these special minerals. Without them, our green energy goals would be much harder to reach. They are fundamental to building a cleaner future. These minerals are also critical for national security. High-tech defense systems rely on them. Fighter jets, missile guidance systems, and advanced communication equipment all need rare earths. This makes them more than just a commercial product. They are a strategic asset. Any country that controls the supply of these minerals holds a significant amount of power. It can influence global technology trends. It can also impact the military strength of other nations. This is why governments around the world are paying very close attention to who controls the rare earth market. It is a matter of both economic prosperity and national defense. The problem for many Western countries is that one nation has a near monopoly. China controls most of the world's rare earth supply. It is responsible for about 70% of the mining. More importantly, it handles around 90% of the difficult refining process. This dominance did not happen by accident. It is the result of decades of strategic planning and industrial policy by Beijing. The Chinese government saw the future importance of these minerals long before others did. It invested heavily in the industry. As a result, China became the world's main supplier, a position it has used to its advantage. This has created a major dependency for the rest of the world. Industries from car manufacturing to consumer electronics have built their supply chains around Chinese sources. For years, this system worked well enough. It provided a steady and affordable supply of essential materials. But this dependency has now become a big risk. When one country has so much control, it can turn the supply on or off like a tap. This creates uncertainty for businesses and governments everywhere. It forces them to think about what would happen if that supply was suddenly cut off, a question that is now more urgent than ever. China has shown that it is willing to use its rare earth dominance as a tool in trade disputes. This is not a new strategy, but it has become more pronounced recently. In April 2025, Beijing decided to impose strict export controls on a wide range of rare earth products. This included the powerful magnets used in many high-tech applications. The move was a direct response to tariffs imposed by the United States. It was a clear signal from China. It showed that it could hit back in ways that would cause real pain to American and European industries. The impact was felt almost immediately across the globe. The export controls caused major disruptions. Companies in the automotive, aerospace, and technology sectors suddenly faced a shortage of critical components. Car production lines were at risk of slowing down. Electronics manufacturers worried about their ability to produce the latest gadgets. This is because modern supply chains are built for efficiency. They do not hold large stockpiles of materials. So when a key supplier like China stops exporting, the effects ripple through the entire system very quickly. The halt in exports served as a powerful reminder of how vulnerable these global industries are to political decisions made in Beijing. The situation shows how trade is no longer just about economics. It is now deeply connected to geopolitics and national security. For China, rare earths are a powerful lever. They can be used to pressure other countries during negotiations. By controlling the supply of these essential minerals, China can influence the behavior of its trading partners. This is a classic example of economic statecraft. It is the use of economic tools to achieve political goals. The message was clear. If you put pressure on us with tariffs, we can put pressure on you by cutting off your access to vital resources that power your economy. This power play has forced a major rethink in Western capitals. For a long time, the focus was on free trade and economic interdependence. The belief was that deep economic ties would prevent major conflicts. But China's actions have challenged this idea. They have shown that interdependence can also be a weapon. It can be used to create vulnerabilities that can be exploited. As a result, countries like the United States and members of the European Union are now looking at their trade relationships through a different lens. They are more focused on resilience and reducing their dependencies on potential rivals. Just as global industries were bracing for a long and damaging shortage, China changed its approach. In early June 2025, Right before important trade talks with the United States were set to begin in London, Beijing began to approve some rare earth export licenses. This sudden change in policy has made everyone ask the same question. Is this a genuine peace offering, or is it a clever tactical move? The timing is certainly suspicious. Releasing a small amount of these critical minerals right before a major negotiation could be seen as a way to lower the temperature and create a more positive atmosphere for the talks. The approvals seem very targeted. For example, China has reportedly granted temporary 6-month licenses to suppliers that serve the top 3 American car makers. It has also signaled that it is ready to speed up the approval process for companies from the European Union. This selective easing of restrictions suggests a carefully planned strategy. It is not a full return to the old system of open exports. Instead, it looks like China is rewarding some and sending a message to others. It allows Beijing to maintain its leverage while also appearing to be reasonable and willing to cooperate, putting the ball in the court of the US and EU negotiators. The move also follows direct communication at the highest levels. US President Donald Trump confirmed on June 6th that he spoke with Chinese President Xi Jinping. After their phone call, President Xi agreed to let some rare earth minerals and magnets flow to the US. This high-level intervention shows how serious the issue has become. It is no longer just a technical trade matter for lower-level officials to handle. It is now a central part of the relationship between the world's 2 largest economies. The London talks, featuring top officials like Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng and US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, will be a key test of this new dynamic. So the question remains, is this a friendly gesture or a strategic power play? The answer is likely both. On one hand, it is a practical step to ease the economic pain and show goodwill before negotiations. On the other hand, it is a masterful demonstration of China's power. By turning the supply off and then selectively turning it back on, Beijing reminds the world who is in control. It sets the stage for the London talks by framing China as a reasonable actor, while keeping its most powerful trade weapon ready to be used again if the negotiations do not go its way. It is a sophisticated move in a complex global game. The recent drama over rare earths has sent a clear message to the world. Relying so heavily on a single country for critical materials is a dangerous strategy. In response, the United States, the European Union, and other allied nations are now urgently working to reduce their dependence on China. This is not just about finding new sources of rare earths. It is about rebuilding entire supply chains, from mining the raw ore to the complex process of refining it into usable materials. This is a huge and expensive task that will take many years to complete, but it is now seen as essential for economic and national security. Countries are exploring several different strategies. One approach is to increase domestic mining and processing. The US and Australia, for example, have rare earth deposits and are investing in new facilities. Another strategy is to partner with other friendly nations to create more diverse and resilient supply chains. This is sometimes called friend-shoring, where countries build their supply networks with trusted allies. There is also a major push to invest in research and development. Scientists are looking for ways to recycle rare earths from old products and to design new technologies that use fewer of these critical minerals or none at all. This issue is also connected to broader trade tensions. The rare earth dispute is just one part of a larger economic competition between China and the West. For example, China is also in a dispute with the EU over tariffs on electric vehicles. Beijing has threatened to impose its own duties on European products like brandy in retaliation. These conflicts show that the global trading system is under a lot of stress. Countries are increasingly using trade restrictions and industrial policies to protect their own interests and gain an advantage over their rivals. The era of smooth, uncomplicated global trade seems to be over for now. Ultimately, this global power play matters to everyone. It affects the price and availability of the products we use every day. For car companies, a stable supply of rare earths is necessary to build the next generation of electric vehicles. For anyone with a smartphone, a tablet, or a computer, these minerals are essential. The outcome of these trade negotiations and the long-term effort to build new supply chains will shape our technological future. It will determine how quickly we can transition to a green economy and who will lead the great technological races of the 21st century. The invisible ingredients of our modern world are now at the center of a very visible global struggle.